This October 5th Jackson County Commission work session to order. Have our roll call.
District 1, Mr. Dutton.
Present.
2, Mr. Butler. Here. 3, Mr. Miller. Present. District 4, Mr. Ledwell.
Present.
Chairman also present.
Okay, quorum is present. We'll have our invocation by Mr. Porter and our pledge by Mr.
God our Father, we are blessed to be here today. Thank you so much for this beautiful weather that we have, the wonderful sunshine. Be with those along the East Coast that are suffering so much because of the rain. God, we pray that you'll be with them and comfort them and help them put their lives back together when they have been displaced and caused difficulty. So God, we pray for them especially right now. We also pray for everybody that's in this room. Pray for the families. Watch over us and guide us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This item's approval of the agenda. We have 9 items on the agenda. We had last two items were added for just a quick discussion or presentation. Any changes before we proceed? Have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No one signed up to speak, so we'll move on to discussion items. Okay, several of these items, things we've kind of talked about in the past, and now I guess looking to see where we're going to go with them. And the first item is regarding the retiree insurance. We discussed different options on how we wanted to move forward with this. It was presented during the budget time about the possibility of not picking up any increases for some point forward, and I thought maybe the discussion had been maybe to start that next year. Another part of that process was to say that after a certain date, this benefit will no longer be a benefit for employees. So whether that be, if you're hired from this point forward or hired after a certain date, that this benefit wouldn't be available to you. So I wanted to open that up for discussion, see where we wanted to move forward, how we wanted to move forward with that.
I agree that we need to do something, but and I would like to look further into employees hired on a certain date, if we were to pass a resolution, either reducing it or cutting it out, one or the other, but only for new hire employees.
Okay. As far as new hire starting from this point forward?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Or set it at a specific amount for new hires from today forward. But as far as current people or retirees, I couldn't support taking a benefit from them.
Are we gonna continue to absorb the increases for everybody that's hired from now, all the way to the people that's currently retired, just continue to absorb the?
I think we need to start a policy right now. It should have started 30 years ago. Anybody hired now, we don't need to pay for insurance if somebody retires at 45 years old.
Right, that's what I was saying, either
Or
reduce
cap it, cap it at an amount.
cap it or reduce it. Obviously, employees now are retiring at before they reach the age of 50, and the county pays their insurance for until they're 65. So, if we could institute a policy on new hires, whatever the date may be, then
I think we need to start there. But my personal opinion is if you're a new hire, once you retire, you just forfeit your benefits. I mean, I just can't say the county ain't gonna be able to afford to keep paying.
You're gonna have to do one of two things. Either increase your wage scale tremendously or continue to give them a benefit, or the amount of people you attract and the quality of people is fixing to drop. We're gonna have to do one or the other.
But we
Pay them now, pay them
can't
later.
afford to continue the benefit either. I mean, it's an unlimited benefit if we leave it as it is.
Well, the people that have retired and the people that are in the system now came to work with that, knowing that that was a benefit they had and I'm not for touching it.
But I agree with you. I mean, I don't think we should cut it out. I just wonder if we should look at least letting them absorb a portion of it. Maybe it's 10%, 20%, 30%, something.
I mean,
Mr. Porter, was you able to check
Yeah,
and
but
see
increase.
about what we had discussed about
In the existing
potential
paper,
of? and what
I'm saying
you
not
cannot
this
do
year,
that
going
at all?
forward.
I don't think so.
I'll say,
Because it's
Because
cash
it goes up
payment.
$500
If it was
a
something
month.
else, maybe, but
that's not their fault. We could do a
It ain't
better
our
job
fault
of,
either.
well, we can do a better
Here's-
job of negotiating
what it
a
sounds
plan,
like,
that's what I think.
are we looking kind of in the same picture of, as far as going forward, any new hires? We can always take the benefit away with a new hire and then give it back at some time. If you give them a portion of the benefit, say when you retire, you can't, we're having trouble taking that back. I would suggest if we're going to cut back on the new hires, we say nothing for this, for the time being, and then if we get in a better situation, we can always add that benefit in.
I think you're gonna kill yourself for the quality of applicants you get. Because our pay scales are not competitive as they are. I say you cap it.
We're not
No,
competitive with other municipalities, or not competitive with the
Well-
marketplace.
Let's just take retirees real quick. Retirees are paying $800 a month.
still have their insurance.
Mhm.
864.
All right, listen, let's think about this for a minute. And what is an employee?
Three.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with this picture.
389.
I don't think we're doing ourselves any justice by, why would a retiree insurance, when they're 48 years old, be double? It's ridiculous.
We had some to retire in the very next month. And it-
Sure, it goes to retiree amount,
I
but
called,
that's ridiculous.
what I was told about Blue Cross was that once the person is retired, no matter what age they are, they go into the pool with all the retirees. So they're just pooled together.
But that same person can work till they're 62 years old for the county and pay $400. I'm not a rocket scientist, but this don't, something's not right.
It doesn't, but we are on the state,
Yeah, and that's the
level
way it
government
works. I
system.
even called a couple other counties.
Do we have to stay on the state system?
We don't have to stay on them, but if we were to come off of it, we could not use Blue Cross Blue Shield for 2 years, I believe. And we've looked at the alternative of going with another insurance company, and at this time, those costs would be more.
The Blue Cross has just kind of got the corner in Alabama.
We can't even break out the retirees and put them on a different,
My understanding is that we can't.
it all has to stay under the same.
You know, your new hires, again, it's my opinion, we can vote on whatever is put on here. I'd say cap it at an amount for the retiree insurance, but you gotta offer that benefit. I believe in order to keep,
Cap it at age 60.
you know, cap it at an amount. You know, if we're paying $410 a month for, then from this date forward, any new hires, that's how much we'll pay. You know, plus the increases, and, you know, it won't be 800,
Right.
but at least they'll know,
10 years from
They've
now,
got-
maybe.
maybe, but at least they'll know they got 25 years to figure it out. The ones that's in the system now, that came to work for that benefit, I can't support touching it.
Do we, is there any thought on absorbing or not absorbing increases?
I would support not continuing to absorb the increases. I mean, I don't want to call this a hardship to retirees, but, you know, when this promise, when it was made 30 or 40 years ago, I mean, it was a completely different environment when it comes to insurance, and, you know, we're having to cut our budget, cut our hours and everything else, and this is a huge drain on the general fund, and I don't want to take anything away from anybody, I agree with you, but to continue with the way the insurance, industry is now, and the increases are, you know.
But is it, to me, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I'm right opposite. I say you don't touch them. You know, it's not really their fault that it's increasing. It's not our fault that it's increasing. These folks are on
It's not
fixed
the
incomes.
It's not the taxpayer's fault that it's increasing
You're gonna write a
either.
check for them if it decreases? If you're not, then I don't see they pay the increase.
No, wanna see it decrease.
I do too. Maybe we should be negotiating something better than, but, you know, if you're not gonna sit and write them a check if it decreases,
If you
you
look at
should
some of the.
have them write a check for an increase.
If you look at some of the organizations, two of the organizations that I know of that have insurance outside the local government system have higher costs than we do for individuals. I'm not sure about how the retiree portion works, but for individuals, they have higher costs than we do. So, you know, in that sense, I don't know that pulling out would, plus you've got the negative effect of losing that coverage, not really have an option for 2 years. So it's hard to negotiate when we're within that plan. We can't negotiate those rates separately from the plan. I think through the budget process, we said we were gonna take this year, for the increases. I really do think we need to continue having the conversation on it as far as that part goes for current retirees, and as we continue to monitor the budget, I think we need to keep that as a possibility. So if what I'd like to do on that aspect, we can look at some numbers, look at some different options, and because this will not be effective till the next budget year as far as this part of it goes, maybe we can bring this back up in May as we're approaching the next budget year, kind of look at what the situation is there, and have some different options of what some savings would be, whether it be to take the increases or say we're only going to pay an amount, and look at that. We may not do anything, but at least I think we need to continue to look at this as an option.
I'd like for it to go away, put it to bed, and, you know, just write it down as a cost of doing business, and I just can't support having them pay for something they were promised us. I'm not gonna do it. But that's my opinion. We can talk about it in May, but I'm not gonna change my mind. I think it's bad business. These folks work these years for that benefit, and I just can't see it.
In regard to new hires, how do we want to proceed? I would be for not,
Maybe
again,
we could look at, you know, like Mr. Venable suggested, pay their same amount that we're paying for their insurance currently when they retire.
we looked at, to maintain that portion.
Or at a reduced rate.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, I just wrote, no, what about doing like new hires, pay them, if they retire, they can pay $200 a month. It don't matter what the amount is, that's what the county, and they set a set amount.
We can't do that.
Why?
You pay them cash.
No, I don't mean pay them cash, I'm just
Pay
saying,
toward their insurance.
I'm just saying that $200 would be the cap that we pay on retiree insurance per month.
If you set it at a dollar amount though, and with inflation and everything else, 10, 20, years from now, that
We can always
dollar
change that
amount,
dollar amount, though.
we need to tie it to a percentage of, what we pay on.
We could put the dollar back, because that can always be changed. That
What
would allow,
percentage?
that would
They're
allow
saying
us
do
to
80 or
make,
90% of the amount per employee. That way, if it's 600 instead of 4, you still pay 80 or 90%.
but then we may over-obligate ourselves without knowing it, which is what the situation we're in right now. We've over-obligated ourselves and not had.
Well, even if we chose the 50%, that would be, something.
I would still say we need to put a number in there and not a percentage. Again, you can always increase a benefit, but apparently it's much more difficult to take it away.
I think your quality of applicants is gonna decrease tremendously when you do this.
But if we run out of money.
Pay me now, pay me later, like I
nobody.
said. Either raise their wages where they want it for that, or they have the benefits.
Well, we haven't been able to give raises in 3 years, and part of it's because of our obligation that been made for us 30 or 40 years ago that we haven't meet. And it's hard to get the wages up when you're mired down in obligations from the past.
If we're all agreed moving forward that some portion, or if that's where we want to look at, we can have a resolution put together, leave it open as to whether we want to do a percentage or an amount. Could we do that, Mr. Porter?
Sure.
Would everyone be okay, and then we can discuss that further after we get that resolution before us?
I would say let's have it on the next discussion before we
Right.
put
Okay.
any, before we put any time into it.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Porter's time into it.
We're gonna have to do something. We can't just let it continue to sit on the table. We've gotta make a decision at some point, and we need to make it
And we're
quick.
talking about just for new hires from this date forward.
From what I
Right now,
understand right
yeah.
now. Well, we need to be headed that way so that by the end of the
I
month.
would
it's
say we
those-
could go ahead with it, and once, the next time we discuss it, if there's any changes to be made, we can make the changes then.
if we could have a resolution at the next work session, making changes and then proceed from there. We just need to, this is something we've pushed off sometime because we've not, but we do need to do something at least for new hires, if nothing else. Looking at the previous election, this was another thing we talked about in our budget meetings, about the possibility of closing some polling places to save some dollars. We've looked at a few of the polling numbers. Number of folks voting in certain precincts and things like that. We're trying to gather some information. I wanted to bring this up to give everybody a heads up, see if there's any thoughts on how we want to proceed, if we want to proceed with this. But if we do, what I'd like to do is get some more detailed numbers on the number of registered voters in different precincts so that we can analyze that and see if there's maybe a need to close some polling places. I know in some cases we have areas where maybe 20 or 30 people vote and they can go 3 or 4 miles down the road and vote in a different precinct, even if we were to close that one. So it's costing us, I think it cost us $3,600. I'll have to look at the numbers again, $3,600 in election per precinct. That sounds right. So either way, I can have all those numbers and figures together. I just wanted to see if this was something we wanted to continue to pursue as far as the means to save some dollars.
I think it is, because there's a number of polling places that aren't that far apart, and like you said, very limited voters.
I think in the special election, we had some that had 9 votes.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really small ones. We would look, though, I think we need to look at, like the
Registered
presidential
voters,
elections
yeah.
and look at the registered voters and, look at the whole picture. But yeah, you're right, this last one, we didn't have $1 million or something. So is that something we want to pursue? If so, I can try to have some information together for the next work session where we have some more detailed numbers on the polling places. Okay. And also in that, we'll be talking about the Bryant Senior Center. That's one I'd like to ask that we change that polling place. So if there are any other polling places that we know need to be changed, we can do that in this process also. So if it's in one location, we want to move it to another location. If you have any in your precincts that would qualify for that, then keep that in mind. Okay, next item regarding the dental. Okay, you have in your packet some information on would be changing our dental insurance. Right now we have the insurance through Blue Cross Blue Shield. What you have before you is 2 different plans, a Plan 1 and a Plan 2. Similar to the way we did the vision insurance. We did vision insurance with these folks last year, so similar to the way they did that, we've got a Plan 1 and Plan 2. This would save the county $8,400 a year to move to this dental, the $16.50 a month you see here. I think currently we're paying $20. The difference in this is right now, if you have individual coverage, you've got individual coverage on your dental. If you have family coverage, you have family coverage on your dental. This would give folks an additional opportunity to have family coverage. If they don't have family coverage insurance, health insurance, they can have family coverage dental through this plan. There is another plan I'll go over in a second that allows that, but I want to go through this first. It will cost a family that's on it now, it'll cost an extra $1.50 per month. For families that are not on it now, however, this is going to be, I think about $9.50 less expensive than their other options. So it saves the county money, and it saves anybody that would, is interested in getting on a dental plan. It allows them to have that benefit, even if they don't have family coverage insurance. Benefits are the same compared to what we have now. The Plan 2, that would be an upgrade. If someone wanted to do that again, similar to the Vision, they would have to pay that additional amount. The difference between Plan 1 and Plan 2, if they did that, and it gives you a slightly better benefit. So, questions, comments, thoughts on this?
What plan do we have currently?
We have Plan through Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Who's this through?
This is through Dartmouth.
It looks a lot like Class 1.
Additional,
This would be instead of, we would drop the Blue Cross, we'd have this. Now, if you look at your second, there's another sheet in here, it looks like this. This is an option employees have as it is now. This is a supplement that anyone can add to their current dental, which basically adds coverage. Whether we stay with Blue Cross or whether we go to this is still an option for employees. So we're not taking any options away from them as far as that goes. We're giving them a similar benefit, reduced cost for us, gives them an opportunity to do the family. And they still have this opportunity, which is also single or family coverage. They would have to pay, for this as well. The difference is, again, if they can do this now, between this, the Guardian plan is actually less expensive even than this plan. So this is really just additional supplemental if you want to have extra dental.
I think the Guardian's good because we got a lot of people can't afford family health insurance, but they would take I've talked to them and they would take the family dental, so I'd be for getting this for the folks.
Do you have any idea how often this is used by our employees?
The dental?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, this is not much. You got an annual maximum of $1,000 and.
No, that's orthodontics. Oh, the annual maximum for the,
Preventive. That's just your teeth cleaning.
I think that's your, yeah.
And then it pays 50% for anything, your x-rays and everything else.
Mhm. Again, this is the same
Most
plan
folks
we
ain't
have.
gonna use a lot of it because of that, 50%,
I mean, you can upgrade right here.
it just pays 80.
Well, I mean, what's your plan, baby? 100%?
I don't have a plan.
It's the same plan we
But I
have
mean,
in
it's
place
not-
through Blue Cross, it's just less expensive.
Yeah, that's what I got. I mean, I like mine. It's the same as
And
it.
if someone does want 100% coverage on things like that, again, they can use the supplement, or they can do the 80%, or they can go through this extra supplement and have 100% coverage. It saves dollars and gives employees another option to choose from.
I was just curious how often, if this was even used much.
I'm not sure if we could pull the numbers exactly.
Basically the same thing, just a little less cost is what you're saying.
Right.
But if you choose it now, you can't go back to Blue Cross Blue Shield for 2 years.
With the dental, we can go back anytime.
Then you can.
It's only the health, they have that limitation for whatever reason. So any thoughts on this? If we were to move forward with this, I'd like to move forward if everyone's ready next week so that we can get the enrollment going and get everything changed over. January 1 is when it would take effect. This is also, we looked at health insurance, but the health insurance cost was too much, and again, we can't, we limit our options there as well, so, Aaron put this plan together, and it looks pretty good for us. Any other questions or thoughts?
I think it should go with this.
Any objection to placing this on the agenda for next week? If you have any other questions between now and then, let myself or Michelle and personnel know, and we can get you an answer for it. Okay. Next item is regarding TVA pickup sites. We discussed this last year about TVA paying for, giving an amount to the county, an annual amount to the county to help maintain certain sites in the county. This is a copy of that agreement. Have you had an opportunity to review that, Mr. Porter, this agreement?
I did.
Okay. Any thoughts or?
The only thought I had was that we don't have a pickup litter crew anymore.
Right. We would do it through, if we do this, we do it through our county park for the time being. Several of these sites are boat ramps that we maintain to some extent. Of course, if we ever run into an issue where they're saying they are demanding more than we feel we can produce, I think it has 30 days. We can cancel the agreement within 30 days, and no other stipulations other than if they've already paid us, we may have to prorate the share back. There is a map in here that shows the locations that they're discussing. 1, 2, I think 6 locations that they're looking at that they want us to maintain or keep cleaned up. Any thoughts, questions, comments on this?
Couldn't talk them into paying more.
We might be able to, on that.
Did we not discuss at one time about bidding all this out? These 6 sites and what we already take care of and,
Oh, to main, I think we did discuss that at one time. We went, that would be somewhat separate to this. This obligates the county to maintain it to an extent so we could still technically bid it out and these dollars could supplement that process.
I'm just concerned that, you know, in part, we've got less employees than we had down there.
Right.
And we've hired less part-time employees. And the boat launches is not that big a deal, but when you get into, you know, a mile and a half and another 2 miles or whatever roadside, I mean, that can get pretty time consuming.
I think the portion on those that you see, I think that's more of a certain full loss or whatever they're talking about as opposed to the length, which we can clarify with them. But yeah, it does look like they're saying clean up the roadway for that length, but I think it's more certain full loss, and we do have a boat slip in both of those areas.
Don't this agreement mean, it says it was understood and knowledge that there's no way a third-party beneficiary agreement? This is solely between the TVA, United States of America, and the county, so
What
does that
page
mean
is that on?
that you can't bid it out for? This is one of the first things I seen.
That paragraph doesn't mean you can't bid it out, that has third-party beneficiaries
It
do
just
it.
means
But
that we're responsible.
on the prior
for it.
page, it says the county cannot assign new contracts or any benefits or obligations without the permission of TVA.
So we couldn't hire somebody to
But
do
you
it.
could, you'd have.
You just have to ask permission
Get
from them.
permission.
How many more would we have to add?
We've got boat slip sites throughout the county.
To do Mud Creek?
Island Creek. Oh, we do Island Creek
We
too?
probably have 3 or 4 in addition to this.
We had 5, but some of them were at some of these same sites.
Right.
So it would be probably a total of 8 or 9, something like that, 7 or 8.
And as like it is, if we feel it's not to our benefit, we can cancel it or anything, right?
Now, my own
Free money.
you know, the heaviest traffic the boat launches are gonna see is in the summertime when, you know, we need to be mowing grass and we've got 3 different places, you know, 2 different places besides the park that we have to travel to mow grass. And I'm just concerned when we get there, and people are too spread out.
Let's get a consent from them and let's just bid it out. Because if you don't take this 5,000, we're gonna be cleaning them up anyway.
Right. We're maintaining most of these areas as it is.
Yeah, let's bid it out.
What we can do, if there's no objection, we can place this on the agenda for next week, and then we'll begin to look at what the bid process, and also I'll contact TVA. Do we need to accept that agreement first and then discuss bidding, or do we, or I
You
guess
do it either way.
we'll ask them about the possibility, saying we do have other additional sites we want to cover and see how that works. So I'll have that next Monday. If it's not satisfactory, we can table it until we get a satisfactory result. Is that appropriate?
If you bid it out, I'm sure the TVA they would give consent, but they would also look to the county to make sure it got done.
Right.
I mean, if you
Oh,
didn't they're not gonna go to the third-party contractor, they're gonna come to the county and say it's not clean.
Right, okay.